Hey there, my name is Joe Keyport, and you're listening to the Ear Coffee Podcast. This week's episode, I talked to all four members of I Want to Eat Lava and God Cannot Stop Me. A little shorter, Eat Lava. The band put out their debut EP, Do You Care, in July of this year, and we got a chance to sit down after recording a live session and talk about this EP and how they put it together, what was going into it. It's all four members of Eat Lava, and they're right here on the Ear Coffee Podcast.
How's it going?
Good.
We just had a lot of fun with the live session.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's always fun to follow up. You kind of get to capitalize on the energy of performing some music in now this very hot and sweaty basement. Very Minneapolis DIY.
Yeah.
So let's start off. Let's have everyone introduce themselves and what they do in the band. We kind of put some names to voices.
I'm Andy. I'm the guitar and lead vocals and songwriter.
I'm Lauren. I play bass.
I'm Aly. I play synth and do some backup vocals.
And I'm Sanath. I play drums.
So let's start off. I like to ask every band kind of how they describe their band to people, and they kind of usually it's someone who isn't in the know. It's a family member at whatever holiday you're at, or it's a coworker who's like, "Oh, you're in a band. That's cool. What kind of music do you play?" What's that like one sentence answer you go to?
Now I just say like progressive indie. And then like indie that's fucked up or something.
Like you say progressive indie, and then you start to see the confusion. And
yeah, like, it's not progressive rock. It's different.
Yeah, I usually end up just saying indie or math rock, and a lot of people don't know what that is, but then I say prog, and they're like, "Oh, like Rush," and I'm like, "No, not really," but I don't know how else to describe this to you.
Yeah. Or like some people say that we're emo, but if you say emo, we don't sound like that.
No,
so it's like the expectations. I don't know. It's hard to get the exact vibe right, just in a single pitch.
Yeah, I usually say kind of emo, which confuses some people. Yeah, kind of emo, pretty proggy, very indie.
I just say math rock, and like it's really not, but I just like to confuse people and kind of live out my dreams of being in a pure math rock band.
It's so fair. So then let's kind of hop into it. Let's get a little history. How did this band form? Where did y'all kind of connect and start creating what we know as Eat Lava?
I put out a Craigslist ad and met Sanath that way, and I was roommates with Lauren. And I was like, "You play bass? Be in my band."
So the Craigslist ad said looking for a drummer for a technical death indie band.
Yeah.
And I've never
covers a lot of ground.
Exactly.
I was trying to be like inflammatory to like filter people basically.
Oh.
And like also I had this like weird idea like, yeah, it's gonna be like riffy, like tech death. I was listening to a lot of tech death and stuff like that, but like it's gonna be like riffy and like weird and technical, but like poppy instead of like heavy.
I was a little terrified because it's like I've never played like double kick, or like I don't really listen to much metal music, but Andy listed a bunch of influences or like sounds to go for, and like things like Palm, like Dirty Projectors,
Krill,
which I was really big into at the time.
yeah, Pom Poko.
Yeah.
That's like, if people know bands, that goes back into the last question. I usually am like, well, it kind of sounds like Krill, Pom Poko, or Dirty Projectors, which is like a lot of different things. But.
Yeah, and then I met Andy and Andy's partner Elle at Grumpy's and just chatted about music, and I was like, my girlfriend, who I've been dating for like 3 months at this point, can play keys and sing.
And I was like, yeah.
We had a practice space in the North Loop City Sounds. I was there with another band, and we just jammed a little bit, and Andy just had so many ideas, and I was like, okay, this will be fun.
This will work. Yeah.
I have many ideas.
And so then, Aly, what about you? How did you joined through there? When was like the first like official like Eat Lava? When you would officially call it the band forming? What was that kind of that date?
It was like November of 22.
Okay,
I don't remember the exact date.
that's so fair.
But
Yeah.
we didn't officially become Eat Lava until like January or February. We didn't pick a name for a long
It was
time.
like February or March, I think.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And so then, were you writing pretty much right away at that point, or
Yeah, I had some songs. I had a previous band that just kind of like imploded, so I just took like a song from that band, and like I had written another song recently, and I just brought them right away.
as kind of musicians coming together, was it pretty easy to kind of find that groove as someone who had like a lot of ideas were thrown around on what this band could be, and before you kind of found what would be the sound for at least this EP or kind of going forward? Or
I think so. I mean, the band is very kind to me. They kind of just let me do whatever I want and like follow along. So, yeah, I was just like, well, I got the song written out like this, and this is how I think it should go and sound. Like, what do y'all think? And everybody was like, yes.
Yeah, Andy gives
like,
us
okay.
a lot to work off of and comes to practice with like new ideas. Then we kind of all fill in our parts and yeah, so it's been good. Like this is the first band I've ever been in, so it's
Gotcha.
helped me a lot to like have that to go off of. Then, yeah.
Every band has like a different philosophy, but like I'm a big believer in that like any grouping of musicians has a sound. And initially with like Andy coming in with a bunch of songs, it was like, okay, like how are we gonna like make our own sound if it's just like filling in parts for these songs? But like because the songs are like there's so many parts to them and they aren't traditional. Like you can't like put just a random like 4/4 beat on everything. There was so much room for interpretation, and we quickly found like an Eat Lava sound, and as new songs are being written, that sound is becoming more defined, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I think All of My Blood, which the last song that we played, is like the perfect like encapsulation of like the new, like we've been playing together for a while, and this is like kind of how we sound.
yeah. And so then let's talk about the debut EP, which is called Do You Care? How does it feel to have it out?
Great.
Surreal.
It's been a long time. We started recording in June of 23, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, it just took us a long time because I'm very busy. I'm in like a million bands. So it took me a while to like actually get all the parts recorded. But
Yeah, we recorded drums in Anita Velveeta's practice space.
Yeah.
And so that was like the first thing that we did, and then everyone else put their parts on top of the drums, and there was a little bit of anxiety for me. I was like, so much time has passed, like I feel like I can play all these tracks better.
Yeah.
But I mean, going back once we were going through the actual mixing process with Anita Velveeta and like hearing the songs back, I was surprised, like, oh, what I played back then like holds up now, and it sounds good and
sounds like a song.
yeah.
And so talk to me about writing this record. I know, Andy, you said you pulled a song from an old band, you're writing some new stuff, and then as you know, everyone was filling in and getting more comfortable, kind of stuff was developing. But what was kind of what were you putting into these songs, and what was the band putting into these songs as all these 5 tracks were coming together?
Like, what do you mean? Like what?
Like themes and
okay.
subject material. We don't have to do like a track by track breakdown, but
Well, for lyrics, I guess. I mean, I write all the lyrics. It's impossible for me to write like happy lyrics. They're all like emo or like at least like melancholic or like weirdly, I don't know, like nostalgic or something like that. But yeah, so there's a lot of angst, and I was going through a lot of crap with like being trans and like my parents, and so that kind of came through. I think there's several songs, but like really when I write lyrics, and like thematically, it's kind of just like whatever's bothering me at that point
Yeah.
of time. So yeah, ends up being a little dramatic, but I think it fits the like tone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, because I am the only one who writes the lyrics, and I don't even remember when like I first like actually showed you the lyrics. I would just like sing them, but like the rest of the band.
Yeah, Andy has a massive Google Doc that's pages and pages of lyrics.
Yeah, I used to like I actually finally moved them into like a separate like Eat Lava lyric document, but yeah, I used to just keep all my lyrics I've ever written like in my entire life in the same Google Doc. There's like 150 songs. Most of them are bad.
One of our songs, Witness, is a little bit about like environmental degradation and climate change.
Oh, yeah,
and that really, I think the themes of that came through with like the album art, because our album art is a glacier, and it's a picture of a glacier that I took. I'm a environmental science major, I guess, in grad school, and I study glaciers. So it's kind of our album art, and like our first merch design was kind of about like this glacier dying. So I feel like there's a little bit of those themes woven. woven
Yeah,
into.
world angst
Yeah.
and personal angst. I guess that's kind of a theme, like how all like my personal problems and growth like feel weird in like comparison to like this worldwide doom that we're experiencing. I think a lot of like that one was inspired by all the smoke. Like I just get really depressed when it's really smoky outside.
That's so fair. That's the one thing we haven't had. We haven't had nonstop haze in the Twin Cities this year. But so then it kind of plays into a question I was thinking about when listening, especially listening to the EP today, which the title itself is a question. It's that, do you care? And do you talk to me about kind of that as a question you asked? Do you feel like maybe you answered that question through these songs, or, is it more of just a kind of almost a shout into the void a little bit, given, the environmental themes a little bit? Or
yeah,
some
kind of a
stuff?
shout into the void. The title track is one of those tracks that's about like my relationship with being trans and being like, it's very personal. It's like feeling like my parents, but also like other people in my life, they try to be supportive, but it's like, do you really actually care? Are you actually like trying to like be supportive and understand like what I'm going through, or do you just like, you're just like doing stuff because you don't want to piss me off or whatever? But that, I guess it kind of like works for the other songs too, because with the environmental stuff and like personal stuff, it's like, I don't know, do people care, or do they, are they just like putting up an act? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty angsty.
Yeah. Hey.
That's where the emo comes in.
The emo comes in, yeah.
band.
We already touched on it a little bit, but we talked about the recording process. Talk to me a little bit more about kind of how that went. You said it took a while as you kind of had all this time, but outside of the stuff you did with Anita and obviously she mixed and mastered it. What was it like to sit down and kind of start putting the stuff to digital? I was gonna say to wax, but no one's got that kind of budget right now.
We got cassettes.
That's true. To tape.
Yes. We should have recorded it into a tape. That would be cool. Sometime I'll try to do that. Well, I just recorded most of the other stuff in my bedroom, and I'm like a perfectionist, so it's a lot of like recording and then being like, damn it, and like re-recording it, but which is why it took a really long time. But yeah, it is nice, at least economically, to be able to just record it in my room and whenever I want. But that also means I like put it off. Yeah, we recorded Lauren's bass in my room, and then we did the vocals in Sanathan Alley's like spare room.
We put like blankets up on the ceiling fan and
like
soundproofing
like,
panels to try to
acoustic panels.
Very DIY.
Yeah. Lots of borrowed equipment.
feel like the process is always relies on borrowing something or asking someone for something, just the DIY nature of
Yes.
recording.
I think next time I'm definitely going to do it in a studio just to get rid of the headache. But it did feel good to actually like get the parts done.
Yeah, I can imagine. And what was it like working with Anita on this project? Did she have much input on it beyond kind of the mixing and mastering, or was it?
She was pretty like just doing what we told her to do, kind of.
Yeah.
But there was lots of like back and forth.
Yeah, she works fast, and so it was like we'd get something and give her a lot of notes, and it just pretty soon after we'd get it back. She's such a beacon in this music scene, and like she's going out on tours, and so I was like scared that like this was gonna overload her, but like when it actually came down to like the work for mixing and mastering, she did it so efficiently, and like it went by pretty quickly.
Yeah, she really brought it to life, and I was so grateful. Like, she was so receptive to us giving notes, and we would pass back like a ton of different versions of the song. She was really, really great to work with.
And then I want to ask, is it like a band that's like seemingly relatively new and just kind of moving almost like kind of all gas, no brakes kind of away? What's kind of the vision for Eat Lava as you guys keep moving forward and doing stuff? What's the grand vision that maybe you all have individually or as like a collective, group? Especially for some of the people who have maybe not played in bands before, or this isn't a regular occurrence.
I'm pretty ambitious. Like, music is my only thing I'm really doing. Like, I have a day job, but it's like for music purposes. So yeah, I want to like, make a real nice sounding LP in like a real studio. I want to like tour. I mean, we're still doing the DIY, at least if until miraculously somebody makes us not do DIY, but I'm not counting on that. So,
so you can blow up and act like you don't know nobody.
Yeah. I have like experience putting together tours and stuff and like contacts for that for my other band. So I will be doing that in the future as long as everybody else is free. I'm dragging them all along with me in my like ambitious plans.
Yeah, Andy said something to me one time that I always think about, and it's just she wants to do well enough that we can just keep doing cool things. And that's really, I
cool
feel
stuff.
like how I feel too. And I just want to like keep meeting other musicians and like making connections with people throughout this music scene, and hopefully other cities. When we go on a little tour.
Get a little national, maybe international.
Hell yeah.
Europe
My
tour.
my life goal is just to tour Europe. I don't even have to make any money doing it. I just want to like
go say you did it.
have it, just be like so cool, I think. Or like anywhere outside the US too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have one Spotify listener in Zambia, so
Go play a show for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool. And then kind of wrapping things up here, we always like to let bands have the opportunity to shout out their local favorites, regional favorites, any of their friends. I'm assuming you're probably the second most prepared band, it seems, when it comes to this. Talking through the list. As everyone grabs phones, if we can let you all do that.
Yeah. So I guess the first one to shout is Malamiko. We're like besties band, basically. We are doing a lot of stuff together. We were supposed to play some out of town dates with them. We unfortunately had to cancel due to COVID, but we're going to be doing more in the future, I think. And we have a show with them in September, and we've played a bunch with them, and they're so awesome.
Yeah.
They're the coolest. They should be so much bigger. And I guess all the bands that are on our release show, Gridlick, I'm really excited for their EP to come out eventually. And Atrex and Briefly Gorgeous are just bands that I loved already. All those like indie, emo, mathy sphere bands. My favorite stuff. bands we played in the past, like Time Room, Lud Gang, Silo. Obviously, we got some of our first shows with Silo.
2 out
Everybody's
of 4
wearing Silo
members are wearing
shirts,
Silo
yeah.
shirts right now.
I should have worn mine. Yeah. I mean, I can keep going on. Obviously, we already mentioned Anita as a producer, but also her music is awesome, and it's a great scene. All the other like trans bands, I feel like have like a pretty like tight, but not like tight but welcoming like scene here.
Yeah,
and I really like being a part of it. I guess I'll let other people talk.
Anyone else? Yeah.
Yes, all of those are definitely up there for me. A couple I want to shout out really quick. I really enjoy Lap Dogs, Controversial New Skinny Pill, and Shrimp Olympics. And the thread that ties all of them together, watching those 3 bands, like they all exhibit like so much joy, and it's just like I have such a big smile on my face every time I see them. So yeah, I love those ones too.
Shout out Santa's other band.
Yes.
Large boulder the size of small boulder. Also, EP coming soon.
I'm not going to promote, but we play shows like twice a year. And so, yeah, shout out Large Boulder, Small Boulder.
You're so good.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I think y'all got all of my favorites.
Drug League.
Shouts out Andy's other bands, Eudaemon, Strange Frequency,
Also
Ice Climber.
Yeah. I'm missing an Ice Climber gig to be here. I'm a fake ice climber. A fake climber.
Can we shout out Putt Putt?
Putt Putt gone.
Oh, you have any other bands, Lauren?
Mary Jam, Delicate Friend, Prairie Clamor. Love those guys.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be playing with Prairie Clamor in October, I believe.
Nice.
I have to say Unattractive Giant Monster. I forgot them.
These are bands I'll have to listen back and start taking notes.
Huge list.
Yeah.
Just forgot us.
There's too many indie bands.
There's too many bands. If we were gonna start naming all the cool bands, we'd be here all night. Kind of finally here, where can people find you? Where can they connect? Where can they know what's going on with Eat Lava?
Most of the stuff happens on Instagram. It's eatlava.mn. And we have Facebook, but it's kind of dead.
Who uses Facebook?
If you're old,
Yeah,
you can do that.
You can do copy pastas and just sharing really bad AI generated images.
Yeah. I've gotten into the idea of making a website recently, so maybe in the future there'll be a website.
Well,
I'm just gonna mention we're on our EP is on streaming services too, so Spotify, Bandcamp, YouTube.
Everything.
I know.
Yeah.
All the above.
and the EP's called Do You Care? Like you said, it's on Bandcamp. You can buy a tape. There's tapes available. Support local bands. Thank you all for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You have been listening to the Ear Coffee Podcast. If you like what you heard, please rate, review, and share so we can stand out against the sea of other music podcasts. You can find information and other important links in the show notes of this episode. If you would like to support us, please consider subscribing on Patreon for early access to live sessions and other bonus content. You can also subscribe to our Substack for a regular newsletter with reviews, ramblings, and anything else we have to say. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.